Good evening, everyone. I am Shannon Clare, and I really appreciate you joining me for some prenatal yoga. It's pretty special to get to share my own pregnancy with others, even though we're separate. We're going to do a pretty relaxing practice tonight. Many of you are new to yoga, so we're going to introduce some yoga poses just to kind of get comfortable with feeling them in our body. Everything feels a little bit different when we're pregnant and may even feel different for you week to week. So one week something might feel great and the next week it may not. So if you do find you feel discomfort in a pose or pain, please come out of it. We don't want to push our bodies right now. Because of all the relaxin in our joints, you can actually do more negative, I guess, to your body than good by over pushing it. That's for strength or stretching. And you might not notice it prenatally, but postpartum it will become quite apparent if you've overdone something. So we say maximum 70% in these poses. So 70% of your maximum, that's it. It should feel enjoyable. It should feel maybe kind of juicy, but not painful in any way. Also, we want to make sure we don't compress our bellies. So if you ever feel like a pose is compressing your belly, you want to back out of that a little bit and give your belly space. And that could be in a twist, a forward fold, and again, just making sure that you have enough space for your belly. If you find there is a pose that I do not offer you a modification for, or the modifications don't seem to be working for you, please send me an email and I can offer you a personalized modification via email or include it in the next class. That's excellent feedback for me. So again, 70% of your maximum, no compressing of the belly. One last thing is we don't want to ever go straight back on our backs. It's just too much pressure on the abdominal wall, especially the bigger your belly gets. So we're always going to be going down onto your side and then your back. And I will cue you through this, but just to remind you that anytime we go on our backs, we want to go down to our side first. We never want to go straight back. And same when we're coming up. Onto our side, and then back up. Again, I will cue you though. So let's get started. We're going to start in a seated, cross-legged position. And I'm recording this on my computer, so I might sound like I'm shouting. I'm not sure. So we're going to try it out and see what happens. If it doesn't work, we'll do it different next time. If you are later in your third trimester, later in your second trimester, you may feel comfortable to elevate yourself a bit. So I have a small yoga cushion, but you can also use a pillow from your couch or something else that's comfortable for you to sit on. A few other things you might need before you get too cozy are blocks. So I do have yoga blocks. You can also use books if you don't have blocks at home, or a nursing pillow. If you've bought a nursing pillow, that can also work as a bolster. A pregnancy pillow. We will need some stability with the blocks at some point, so books are probably the best bet at home. If you have a small stool, a small wood box, something else that you could use, that would be great as well. And then again, I have a bolster, so cushions from the couch, one for each leg, so at least 2 cushions. Pregnancy pillow, nursing pillow, those would all be great as well. So after you've grabbed those, we're going to find a comfortable seat and take a big exhale, relax. So we'll close our eyes to begin, and we're just going to tune into that breath. We're not going to do anything to our breath. We're just going to notice it. Notice if it's fast or slow, shallow or deep. Just going to tune into that breath for a moment. to soften our face on our next exhalation. Relaxing your forehead, eyes, cheeks, chin, jaw, lips, tongue. On your next exhalation, letting your shoulders melt away from your ears. And we'll roll them back a couple times, just loosening up our muscles. Feel free to inhale as you bring your shoulders up, and exhale as you lower them, or to just move at a pace that feels right to you. And on your next exhalation, you're going to open the shoulders up as if they're wings. So opening them up wide and relaxing them beside your body. On our next exhalation, letting the arms melt past the elbow, the forearm, the palms of the hands, the fingers, the thumb. And then putting your focus back on the top of your spine and imagining it's melting all the way down your back body, through each vertebrae, through your ribs, through your lower back. It's working so hard for you right now. Relaxing those hips. Relaxing your chest. And slowly putting your hands on your belly. We're just going to check in with our bellies right now. How does your belly feel? There's no way it should or shouldn't feel. It's just tuning into your body. Tuning into your baby, seeing where your baby's at. Are they active? Are they resting? Do they have the hiccups? They feel like they're sitting across your belly. They feel like they're sitting right on the bladder. Just noticing, what does your belly feel like? What does the baby feel like in the belly? And then breathing into your pelvic floor. Imagining it expand and relax. Letting go of any tension in your hips and pelvis. And as you have one more exhale, imagining that melting feeling all down your thighs, knees, your calves, your shins, ankles, and feet. We're going to take one big sigh together, breathing in and sigh. Maybe we'll do one more, breathing in, sigh to exhale. And when you're feeling ready, we're going to open our eyes again. And we're going to start our practice. So we're going to start by switching the cross of your legs. So whatever leg is closest to your body, just going to stretch your legs out and bring the other leg in closest to your body. And we're going to start, sorry my screen turned off for a minute. We're going to start with just a very gentle side stretch, targeting the sides of our bodies. It feels really good to stretch when you're pregnant, as well as a twist. So we're going to start first of all with the twist. So bringing your legs into your cross-legged position. I sit quite wide in my cross-legged position. You do too. You can stay that way. And you're just going to kind of reach over to your leg. If you sit with your legs a bit closer together, then you'll want to put your hand on your knee. So either is fine. It's whatever is most comfortable for you. So we're just going to put our opposite hand on our knee, reaching across our body. And we're going to inhale, bring our head up. Our other hand, same leg hand, is behind. And we're just going to look over our shoulder. This is a gentle twist. We don't want to put any sort of pressure or feel any twisting in the abdomen. We're just looking over our shoulder. And we want to twist mostly in the upper back. The twist, if any, in the lower back should be very, very gentle. And normally in a yoga class you might exhale to twist further, but in our prenatal yoga class we're going to exhale to relax into the pose. So still looking over the shoulder, just relaxing into the pose. Slowly bringing your body back to front, leaving our hand here, and the hand that was at the back, we're going to reach up and over, stretching out that side body right here. Again, this hand is supporting us on our knee, and we want to keep our hips, both sits bones, right on our cushion or the ground. You can look down at the mat or your shoulder, tucking your chin in. You can also look up at your elbow or straight ahead, whatever's most comfortable for your neck. The stretch isn't about your neck, so we're not going to worry about it. Just keep it comfy. We want to worry about opening up this side part of the body, because our ribs can get really compressed the more that our belly grows and the more that baby and our uterus start to push up. So breathing into that side body one more time. And exhale, lowering that arm down. And we're going to switch sides. So reaching across the opposite knee. Again, if your cross-legged stance is a bit wider, you can just grab a bit higher up on the leg. And we're going to start with that twist. Same hand as leg goes behind us. And we're just inhaling, raising our head, exhaling, looking behind us. And each exhalation is relaxing us deeper into the twist. We're not going further, we're just relaxing into the twist. Back to center. Our hand stays on the knee. The hand at the back reaches up and over. Both sits bones on the mat. Neck is comfortable. And you're reaching up. You can't see the top of my arm, unfortunately, but it's reaching to the opposite wall where the wall meets the top of the ceiling. So it's opening up this whole side of the body again. Breathing into that, creating space. And exhale, lowering that arm down. All right, I'm going to move back a bit. You are going to bring your feet forward. We're going to go into a forward fold, seated forward fold. So feet will So the bigger your belly gets, the more space you may need. If you find it's easier, you can use a strap to put around your feet, or a belt, or a scarf. You don't need to touch your feet at all. You can rest your hands on your legs. So again, both sits bones on the cushion or the mat. We're going to inhale, reaching up, and exhale, folding forward just as far as you can comfortably reach. So the bigger your belly gets, the more your uterus is going to put pressure on that rib cage. There's a tiny little bone at the bottom of your rib cage called the xiphoid process, and that can start to put a lot of pressure on your belly. So if you need to, which I do, you can put your legs a bit wider into a wide-legged forward fold. And it might just be a gentle tilt forward. So you're going to actually flex your toes so they come towards your body. And I'm going to move back a bit so you can see me a bit better. So flexing your toes will help create more of a stretch in the back of the legs. If you can reach your toes, excellent. But again, no pressure on the top of the uterus. Finding a comfortable place for you to rest. And breathe and relax. Feel free to sigh or exhale out of your mouth to relax your body if you notice any tension. And also feel free to breathe through your nose in and out if you are feeling peaceful and calm and like that feels like the right thing. So whatever feels right for your body. On your next exhalation, I'm going to have you come back up to seated. We're going to leave our legs where they are. If your legs are a bit closer together, I'm going to have you make them a bit wider so that we're sitting in a V. So our legs are nice and wide, and this time we're just going to actually focus on some internal and external rotation of the hips. This is really important for when we give birth. So your hips, need to be able to move in and out so that the baby can first of all get into your pelvis and then get out of the pelvis. So I actually did that opposite. So I'll explain as we go through this. So you're going to start by turning your toes out to the sides, but the movement is coming from the hips. So the hips are opening, and your toes might turn out a little bit or a lot. The point is to be moving within that hip. Okay? So when we are externally rotated like this, this is how a baby can get down into your pelvis when you are in labor. And we're slowly going to, again, from the hip, move our legs internally. And this will feel very different on your legs. Your toes are still flexed at this point, but you can relax them. If you find you can hold the pose in your hips, in your thighs, and this is how the baby gets out of our body. So our hips need to be able to move this way so the baby can be expelled. So one more time, we're just going to rotate out. Again, toes are towards our head. And from the thigh or the hip, rotating in. And then toes up to the ceiling. Now we're going to take one leg. So I'm not sure how this mirrors exactly. I'll have to watch it after. My left leg, pick a leg, doesn't matter. You're going to rotate that one in. And the opposite leg, you're going to move out. So both of my toes are pointing to the right. This might be mirroring for you, so it might be both to the left. Just remember which way you go. And then we're going to bring both toes back up. We're going to rotate the other foot in first from the hip, and the other leg out from the hip, so they're both pointing the opposite way. Both toes will come back to center, and I'll just give our legs a little wiggle. All right, we're going to move on to all fours now. So feet can come behind you, or if you have another way, again, we just don't want to pull forward. We're going to come on to all fours. If your mat is not very comfortable, you are going to put a blanket underneath your knees. And you may find if you've done yoga before and didn't need anything on your knees, that you do now. It's the extra weight can start to put a lot of pressure on those joints, or the relaxing. So again, listening to your body. So we're on all fours, okay? I'm actually going to turn to the side here. And we're just going to start with a gentle cat-cow. So our cow, we're bringing our chest forward, our sits bones are up to the ceiling. It might be a very slight arch in your back. And you're going to try two things here. One is relaxing your belly. So for me, relaxing my belly is hard. I tend to hold it quite tight. And for other people, they need to really hold on to their belly. So if you feel any sort of pulling or straining or stretching on your belly, you're going to hug baby to your body. So that's going to be kind of like both sides are pulling in and hugging baby to your body. So we're just on all fours. Our chest is pulled forward slightly. Our tail is tilted up slightly. And we're just going to either relax our belly or hug our belly. Maybe we'll take a few breaths here. And then when you feel ready, you're going to exhale, hug on to baby, and we're going to arch our back into cat pose, like this. And again, we're not holding our breath here. We're breathing into our back, making space in our back, stretching those muscles. And on our next inhalation, we'll come forward into cow. And exhale, up into cat. Inhale, forward into cow. And last time, exhale, up into cat. And then coming forward to our neutral spine. So just relaxing the back, relaxing the belly. We're going to curl our toes under. We're going to open our hands up into starfish hands. And we are going to lift our tails up into downward dog. Hugging onto baby. And widening our feet to mat width apart. And we're going to gently walk our heels, bending them. Stretching out the backs of the legs and play around a bit. Maybe a little bend in the knee feels good. Maybe a big bend in the knee feels good. And again, hugging onto baby. Then pressing both heels down. They might not touch the mat. We're just getting a stretch in both legs, trying to keep it equal. Lifting your hips up. And then coming back down onto all fours. Once we're on all fours, we're going to rock just back and forth a little bit. Now when we feel ready, we are going to pick one of our legs, whichever one you feel most comfortable, and you are going to bring it forward. Now you can see bringing it forward for me right now isn't forward. So I'm going to come up when I feel ready, and then I'm going to slowly heel toe my foot up. Now we're going to stay in this low lunge position to start. I'm actually going to turn to face you. So one leg is back, one leg is forward, and it might be out to the side a little bit to accommodate baby. And when you feel ready, you can come up, hands on your knee. And if you don't feel ready, you just stay down on your mat. If this feels a little bit too low, this is a good spot to bring a block in, or a book, or a cushion, so that your upper body can still stay nice and upright. There's no pressure on the uterus. And we're going to breathe either here or with your hands up on your knee. And we're just opening up this back leg, the hip, the front of it. And we really don't want to overstretch here. This is where our round ligaments are. So some of you may have some round ligament pain, and we do need some stretching when we're pregnant, but we also need some strength. So we don't want to overstretch them. When you feel ready, we're going to bring this knee back. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're just going to rock forward and back, hugging baby to belly. And when you feel ready, you're going to try and bring that foot up to the front, heel toe it forward. And again, it's your choice to stay either down on your mat or to come up. Hugging onto baby, hand on your knee. And again, make the choice that feels best for your body. It gives baby the most space, and it gives you a nice stretch. Back toes can be tucked or not, your choice. I like them tucked for stability. And just breathing into the front of that back leg, front hip of the back leg. And when you feel ready, just going to bring that foot back. Again, you can use the rocking motion to come back if you like. And we're going to come up to our first standing position. So I'm going to have you go, first of all, if you want to watch, if you haven't done this before, and then I'll give you a moment to follow. We are going to do downward dog, then our feet will come up about halfway, and then we're going to slowly walk them forward up to our hands. In our forward fold, we're going to come up to a squat and then to standing. So remembering to hug onto baby. So first, starfish hands. Curl your toes, nice and wide on the mat, hips up into downward dog. And then we're going to slowly walk our feet wide. Wide on our mat, maybe bigger than your mat. And when they're close enough to your hands, you're going to put your arms, your elbows onto your thighs, just above your knee. Hug onto baby. Hips drop, hug onto baby. Use your legs to power yourself up. Excellent. So take your time doing that. We are going to go into our mountain pose. So standing nice and tall, feet are at least hip width apart. Find a comfortable stance. Shoulders roll up and open, relaxing your arms. And we're just going to bend our knees a little bit. I like to move them around just to find our footing, to feel centered. And we're going to take a couple deep breaths here to start. Relaxing the body. Inhale, reaching our hands up, leading them in prayer position and bringing them down through our hearts. Inhale, reaching your hands up. Exhale, drawing all that energy down into our hearts. One more time, inhaling, reaching up. Exhale, down through the center. Excellent. Okay. Now we're going to move into a short standing sequence. This is going to be warrior 2, a reverse warrior, an extended side angle, and then we're going to go into a few wider positions. If that means nothing to you, don't worry about it. But if it does, I just want to give you a heads up. So warrior 2, our feet are same thing. You haven't moved, wider than hip width, or minimum hip width, depending on what trimester you're in. we're going to step back with our right foot. Now, if you are suffering from incontinence at all, you want to shorten your stance. So not too wide of a stance, and definitely not as wide as you were doing pre-pregnancy if you were doing yoga before then. So, your choice, right leg back. Sorry, my screen keeps shutting off and I can't see if you can see me. Okay, so right foot is back. We have a short stance. Right now, both of our feet are pointing forward. This is more of a warrior one stance. So we're going to actually turn our back foot and it's going to point straight in front of you. Foot in front is pointing towards me or your back wall, depending on what leg is back. If both legs are straight, you are going to bend the front leg. The front knee should go over the front ankle. Now this will often tell you if you need a wider stance. You don't have to have your knee at a 90-degree angle, but you do want to have it wide enough that it's comfortable. Again, if you're suffering from any sort of incontinence, then you want to shorten that stance. No more pressure on the pelvic floor. So bending that front knee over front ankle, your back toe is pointing out. We're just going to lift our arms up. One hand is pointing towards the back of the room. One hand is pointing towards the device you're using right now. And you can continue to look forward or to the side. And we're just going to breathe here, feeling the strength of our legs. Might want to have a slight bend in the back knee if you feel like maybe it's pushing too much on that knee joint. And we're going to exhale, lower the back arm down to our back thigh. Front arm turns palm side up, lifting up to the ceiling and back. Now this is very gentle, no pulling on the abdomen at all. Breathing deeply, front knee is still bent, back knee is still straight except for maybe a slight bend. Breathing deeply into that side body. Exhale, we're going to bring our front arm forward to rest on that front knee, and our back arm is going to reach up to the ceiling. If you don't have any shoulder issues, you can reach it forward towards the camera. I'm going to reach it up to the ceiling, your choice, and your gaze can be down at the toe, in front, or up. Again, your choice, depending on your neck. Breathing deeply, creating space in your body, feeling the strength of your body. And then your next exhalation, our legs stay the same. Hug onto baby, arms come back up into warrior two. Straighten the front leg and relax. Roll your shoulders back, and we're going to turn the front toe to point the same way as the back toe. So both toes are pointing the same way. I'm going to just switch my view here for you. We're going to move into a wide-legged forward fold and a goddess squat. First, our wide-legged forward fold. So hands on our hips, hugging onto baby. Exhale, we're going to lower down just halfway. Hands on our thighs. Now if this is feeling pretty good to you, you have a choice to either put your hands down on the mat or on a block or blocks, just making sure you feel stable. So it's your choice. Try and move back a bit so you can see my block. Still can't see it, but I moved it up a bit higher. Again, we're breathing into our back body. So breathing into the legs, the backs of the legs, breathing into the back. slight bend in your knees if you feel like you might be pushing back on those knees too much. Now to come up, we're going to turn our heels in, making sure our upper body is supported. And just like we got up from the floor, we're going to put one elbow above one knee, hugging onto baby, one elbow above the other knee. And then we're going to go to our palms. There's a little more space for our belly. You want to relax your shoulders as much as you can. I'm going to turn to the side again here and stay where you are. See if this is a better view for you. So we want our squat, I guess, to still have a kind of a, maybe not a fully neutral spine, but we don't want our butts up and we don't want them tucked. So just finding a comfortable spot to stay in the squat. And feel free to move side to side. Intuitive movements, hip movements are often intuitive movements in labor. So paying attention to your intuition, to how your hips want to move. There's no right or wrong way to do this. And if you feel like you want to stay still, you're also welcome to just stay still for a minute. And exhaling, come on up. And we're going to move into Warrior Two on the other side. You can stay where you are on the mat. Turn your back, opposite toe, whatever toe is for you, out to the other side, to the front or the back. For me, it's my right toe to the back and my left toe to the side. So it can be the exact same stance, just switching our toes. Our arms come up to shoulder height, and we exhale, bending into our back knee if you're following along with me. Your front knee if you went to the back the first time. Again, looking either forward or straight ahead. And slight bend in the back leg if that feels better for you, if that feels more comfortable. Breathing deeply, feeling that strength, lowering the back arm, and exhale, reaching the front arm up and over, making that space in your side body, no strain in your belly. And exhale, bringing the front arm forward, resting it on the front thigh. Back arm comes up to the ceiling or over your head, your choice. Remembering to breathe. And your next exhalation, hug onto baby, all the way up. And we're going to heel toe our feet together. So in, out. And I think I'll use my cell phone next time so that you can see my body. Okay, so you're still standing. I came down because I just wanted to check my plan for today. I think we're going to go into a tree pose right now, and then we're going to move into some seated poses on the mat. So tree pose. We are standing. I'm going to try and move this back so you can see more of me. So our feet are hip-width apart, so you might have to turn towards your device, and or maybe a bit wider. Now, tree pose when we're pregnant is very similar to when we're not, except we're probably not going to go as far. So, two things you can do. If you find you're quite dizzy, you have low blood pressure, that kind of thing, you can put your hand on a wall. My wall is up here. We can pretend my TV is a wall, just for purpose of demonstration. So you can put a hand on the wall, flat hand is better. If you find you're really feeling wobbly, you can actually put your hip right up against the wall. and then move your foot into position. Otherwise, you're going to stand on your mat. We're going to start with our hands on our hips. And again, just bending into your knees a bit, relax that pelvis. Make sure you don't have your tail sticking way out to the back, but you also don't have it tucked. We just want to keep everything kind of relaxed. We're going to start with your right foot just resting on your ankle. Toes are still on the floor, and your heels just resting on the ankle. We're going to take a few breaths here. Relaxing into the balance. Finding somewhere to gaze. And when you feel ready, you can try putting your foot on your shin. And if you don't feel ready, you stay with your foot on the ankle. Now this is as far as I can go as a pregnant lady. If you feel like you can go higher, you are welcome to lift your foot up, but it needs to go above the knee, not on the knee. Again, hands are on our hips for right now. I'm going to put my foot back down because that feels more comfortable to me. And once you're in this position, again, we're finding a focal point, something to gaze at to help us with our balance, or we're holding on to the wall. And then we're going to inhale, reach our arms up, and hold them overhead in a prayer position, if you can. If not, and stay on the hips. And if you fall out, just come right back in. And exhale, we're going to lower our arms down. Hands on our hips, and shake out your legs. That really tires my legs. I don't know about you girls, but I can feel that strength. Okay, now we're going to go into the other side. So, feet hip distance apart, or a bit wider. We're going to find, again, our footing. You might want to rock forward and back a bit. And again, just check in with your hips. I like to wiggle them side to side. We're going to start with toes on the floor, heel on the ankle, hands on the hips. Again, finding that focal point, something that's not moving. And we're going to breathe, we're going to focus, we're going to relax this balance. When you feel ready, if you want, we're going to try foot on calf, again above your ankle and below your knee, or you can go all the way up to your side, but again, above your knee. That does not feel accessible to me, so I can go back to my calf, but you choose what's best for you. Now we're going to breathe, put our hands on our hips, get settled in our pose. And if we're comfortable here, we're just going to stay here. If you want to challenge your balance more, you're going to reach your hands up into prayer position. Again, focusing on one thing that's not moving, breathing, releasing, balancing. And on your next exhalation, coming out, we're going to roll our shoulders, shake your legs. Then we're going to slowly make our way back down to the mat. So reaching our hands up and come through our heart center, and we're actually just going to stop with our hands on our thighs. And we're going to take a deep breath here. And as we exhale, we'll bend our knees a bit more. Maybe make them a bit wider. I didn't leave enough space for my belly. Until you can comfortably put your hands on the floor. One knee comes down into all fours, other knee down into all fours. And I'm just going to now that we're on all fours, I'm actually going to have you first curl your toes under. This is really great if you get some cramps in your feet. The cramps are mostly caused by water-related issues, but it still feels real good to stretch those feet out. They're taking a lot of pressure. So toes are curled under, and we're just going to sit back, opening your knees. Make space for that belly. You're just going to sit back, bum on your heels, keep your hands forward, and if you feel a lot of sensation in that arch of your foot, you can stay right there. If you feel like you need a bit more, you can bring your hands up to your knees and sit right on your heels. Your choice. And if it becomes too much, you can just come back forward again. There's no point in suffering. The pose is called toe torture, so even leaning forward is enough. You're going to breathe into the back of those feet. Back to your heels. We're going to go onto our hip from the side to a mermaid pose and bring your legs forward one at a time. Now feet are going to be about mat width apart. You're going to bring one leg into your body. You choose. We're going to do both sides. Now the bigger your belly is, the more it may have to go out to the side. It's going to be sort of out on an angle anyways, because we're in a V. And the same arm as leg, is going to go on the inner thigh or rest on top of the knee. The opposite arm as the bent thigh is going to go behind. So we're opening our belly into the space, not into the knee, into the space. And again, the twist is coming more in the upper back, and we're breathing deeply. No strain in the belly. And as you exhale, come forward. Extend that leg and we'll switch sides. Then in the opposite knee in, again you choose arm position in front or on top. The same arm as the straight leg is behind. Inhale, belly into the open space. Twist happens in our upper body, breathing and releasing. Extend both legs out. Give them a little shake. All right, we're going to do one more hip stretch. So leaning back onto your mat. Sorry, my screen's going to turn off again and just give it a little movement. We're going to lean back onto just our hands. So there's no pressure on the belly, no strain on the belly. My hands are supporting me. And I am not going down into my back this way. You're going to bring one ankle on top of the other knee, just into a figure 4 stretch. And you might be able to walk your hands forward a bit to increase the stretch in the hip of the bent knee, so the hip over here. Or you might need to make a bit more space for your belly. So even a mild stretch in the hip is good. It doesn't need to be intense. Again, remember 70% of our maximum. So breathing into this hip stretch. switch legs. If you need to help your foot on the knee, that's no problem. Again, just listening to your body, and it's going to feel different every day. And exhale, releasing that leg. And we're actually going to come into a side lying pose. I'm just going to grab a quick drink if you'd like to do the same before we lie down. So let's talk about how to get down to the mat. So from this position, I'm going to put my knees to the side, and I'm going to support my body as it comes down onto its side. When I get up, it's the same. You push into the top arm and you exhale. So blow before you go is the mantra. Exhale before you move, and we're going to hug onto baby. And that's how we get up. Protects our abdominals so they don't separate any more than necessary for our baby. So again, slowly coming down onto your side. Doesn't matter which one. We're going to extend our legs straight. And if you need to bring your feet in just a little bit so that they're maybe not perfectly aligned with your hips, that's no problem. Again, you want to find a balance here. There should be ease. So you can sit with your head up like I am. This will probably feel better in your second trimester, maybe your third trimester, but it might start to feel like a little bit too much. So you decide. You can also put your head down if you've got a lot of tightness. Just whatever is more comfortable. So we're just going to stay here for a minute, just resting. And one of the reasons we do this side laying pose is it's actually a really good position to birth in. So whether you choose to have an epidural or not, this is a position that is accessible to everyone. I'm going to show you the full birthing position here once we have relaxed into this pose. It's a position where your hips can do that internal and external rotation that we practiced in our wide-legged seated pose at the beginning of class. So again, head stays down, or you can prop it up, your choice. And we're going to take the top leg just above our knee. So similar spot to our tree pose. If that feels a bit too high, you can put it down on the shin. And our top leg is just going to go down and up while we hug onto baby. And this top hand supports us on the mat. So down and up. Try again, moving from the hip, down, up. We're just going to do it one more time, and then we're going to rest into this pose. And if you'd like, you can also grab onto your knee and just hold it up to your side. So this is actually an excellent birthing position. And again, something you can do if you choose to have an epidural as well. And we're going to release that top leg. And we are going to roll onto our back only to get to the other side, but I'd like to show you first how to do that. So we're going to put the head down if it was up, and you're going to lift using both your feet, your hips up, and then on your back, up, and then on your other side. Now I'm going to turn around. But again, you lift your hips up from your back to get onto your side. And we always go down on our side, like I just did. Feet extended. Again, they might have to come forward a bit to find balance, and we're just going to relax here. About 3 or 4 breaths. When you feel ready, that foot comes onto your shin or your thigh. And if it felt good for you to work on that hip rotation, you can start again, hug onto baby, knee goes down and up. It doesn't honestly feel great in my body, so I'm not going to do that. If it doesn't feel great in your body, you shouldn't do it either. Listen to your body. And then when you're done, you're just going to go into the squat position or with your foot on your leg. Your choice. And on your next exhalation, we're going to lower that foot. Lower your head if it was up, and we'll just rest here for 2 breaths. On your next exhalation, we're going to blow before we go. Exhale before you come up. Hug onto baby. And we're going to go into our final floor pose. And you are also welcome to stay here for our final resting pose, Shavasana. It's your choice. And I will cue you when we're going to move into Shavasana. So I'm going to use 2 blocks. You have 2 books, that works, or you can use a pillow underneath. So I'm going to set up for a reclining bound ankle. I can't talk tonight. A reclining bound ankle pose. So we're going to put 2 blocks to support at the top of our mat. And our bolster, I'm going to put my knee so you can see, is going to go on top. And I'm also going to show you from the other ankle. 2 blocks and a bolster. Now, the more it's inclined, the easier it will be as you go further in your pregnancy. So if you are in your 2nd trimester, it might be comfortable to have the bolster flat on the ground, but it puts your back at a greater angle, which just puts a little bit more pressure on the front of your body. So if you have any doubt, just incline a little bit. If you feel like you need more of an incline, you can put a few pillows underneath your bolster or your pillow, whatever you have at home. And then I'm also going to have you grab 2 more books or blocks to put under your knees. So again, because that relaxin, our pelvis can open too much and actually cause a little bit of strain. So we want to support our knees. Now instead of books, you can also use a nursing pillow, works awesome for this, or a pregnancy pillow. So to get into this, your bum is going to go right against the bolster. Feet are together, and they can be as far apart or as close to your pelvis as you like. I recommend a bit further away so there's more space to relax. And you're going to put the blocks under your knees or the pillow, and you're just going to lie back onto the bolster. Now because the bolster is here supporting us, we're not going flat down on our back. There should be no strain on those abdominal muscles. You do want to hug on to baby, and you probably naturally are doing that. Something to think about, but the support is there. So relaxing onto this bolster. Make sure you're comfortable. You can move your hips forward or back. We're just going to open our arms, close our eyes, and breathe. inhalation, try relaxing more into the bolster, into the supports. It should feel like a very supported pose. You should feel like you can let go, you can relax. We're going to take 5 breaths here. You're welcome to stay here for a few minutes for our final resting pose, Shavasana. If you are not comfortable in this pose, then I will show you how to get into Shavasana. It's your choice, so feel free to stay. This is normally my preferred resting pose. And if it's not your preferred resting pose, you're going to slowly bring your knees together and move the supports from your knees out of the way. You're going to roll onto your side, and then that bolster or cushion behind you, you can just pull it around front with one head on your arm. You're going to extend your bottom leg and put the top knee on top of the bolster or pillow. And the left side is ideal for pregnancy. It's just the way that your body gets the most oxygen, the way your baby gets the most oxygen, but we won't be here for very long. So if you are on your right side for this amount of time, should be safe. However, if you're uncomfortable, please go onto your left side. Again, lifting your hips whenever you roll from your side to your back or your back to your side. And we'll just rest either on our side or on our back in our bound angle pose. Breathing deeply. Closing your eyes if you're comfortable. And we're just going to do that quick body scan before I leave you in a few moments of silence. So again, relaxing the forehead, the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, the chin. Relaxing the lips, the tongue, the jaw. Relaxing the neck, the shoulders. Melting all those muscles down your spine, your upper back, your lower back. Relaxing your upper arm, your elbow, your lower arm, the palms of your hands, the backs of your hands, your thumb, and all 4 fingers. Relaxing your chest, relaxing your belly, relaxing your hips and your pelvic floor. Relaxing your thighs, your knees, your shins, your calves, your ankles, the tops of your feet, the bottoms of your feet, toes. Breathing deeply here, letting your body rest. side. We're just going to take your top leg off the bolster so your knees are on top of each other. And using the top hand, exhale and push yourself up to seated. If you are in bound angle, you are going to bring your knees together first. Slide the prop out from underneath your knees. Roll onto your side. Maybe stay here for a minute. And as you feel ready, you're going to exhale and push using your top hand up into a seated cross-legged pose. Again, if you feel comfortable sitting on the mat, please do. And if you prefer a little elevation, please sit on a cushion. And feel free to keep your eyes closed. Just going to do a little check-in to close the class. So I'm going to have you place both hands over your heart when you're ready. Eyes closed if you're comfortable. And I want you to connect with your feelings. Connect with how you feel right now. Connect with this love for yourself, that you took this time to try something new, to look after your body, to connect with your baby. Just feel all that love for yourself. And if there's any other feelings there, just acknowledging them and bringing your attention back to this feeling of love, of self-love. And breathing deeply into your heart center. And we're going to move one hand onto each shoulder. Taking a deep breath. And we're going to connect to our strength, the strength of all those standing postures. The strength it takes to walk around with an extra 20 to 60 pounds on your body. The strength it takes to get to this point. The strength it takes to birth your baby. Connecting with our strength, with our power. Breathing deeply into that shoulder space. Breathing deeply into our power. And we're going to place one hand on our belly, near the bottom, one hand near the top of our belly. We're just going to rub our belly a little bit, check in with that baby, check in with that belly. Notice how your belly feels now compared to beginning of class. Breathe deeply into your belly space. Get a little kick from baby, just enjoying that, turning your attention to baby. And we're just going to settle with our hands just comfortably on our belly. You decide what feels right. And we're going to focus on compassion in this space. So recognizing the connection between you and your baby, recognizing the unity, and that this unity continues on after birth, that you are from the same body, you are one. connection is always present. And this connection with your baby existed long before conception. So having compassion for yourself, for your baby, for your body, for this journey that you've been on to get to this point. And feeling grateful for all the miracles that had to take place to get to where you are right now. And taking one more deep breath. Breathing into that belly space, feeling this gratitude for this body, this baby, this experience. And then we'll bring our hands to heart center. And if you're new to yoga, we normally end class with the word namaste, and it's just a greeting, really saying the light in me sees the light in you. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey, and I wish you all a beautiful evening or day, depending on when you're doing this. So, namaste. If you have any questions or comments, something that felt great, something that didn't, something you'd like support on, please send me an email and I would be happy to help you with that. And I just hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for being here. Bye-bye.